Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So today's video is going to be part 3 of my Would I or Wouldn't I series that I started here on my channel a couple of months ago. I got this idea after seeing Angelica do this on her channel. I will have her channel linked in my description box. Angelica is one of my absolute favorite creators, and I've taken several ideas off of her channel over the past year and a half since I started my channel. Sorry, Angelica, but you're a genius when it comes to video ideas. So there is no rhyme or reason to this. I literally just grab any palette off my shelf or out of my drawers, sit them down, make a little pile out of them, and then I'm going to tell you whether or not I would repurchase these palettes and why. So let's start off with number 1. This is the Revolution Pro Earth and Stone palette, and I do have this on my eyelids today. And I have, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these, I think, different color stories, but same kind of layout, same kind of formula, same kind of packaging. And I hadn't used this in a really long time, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get this out and use it today. I wanted a nice neutral look. And I do like the palette. I don't know that I love it. The thing about this, and I'm remembering now as I was applying it, is that the mattes just kind of get a little patchy as the day goes on. Like the longevity of these shades is not the greatest. This shade here is what I put on the lid. It's kind of this duochrome, kind of gold to peach flip. It's beautiful, but it is going to get a little bit creasy. This shade I used as my inner corner highlight. It's beautiful. The shimmers are kind of flaky. You kind of have to finesse them a little bit more than other palettes. This is a very affordable palette, but if I'm going to be totally honest, I don't think that I would repurchase this. It's not horrible. It's just I have this color story in other palettes, and I just kind of think that this is not necessarily necessary in my collection. The next palette is the Ace Beauty Flair palette, and I have used this before on my channel. I did a palette bingo with this, with Freya. Her channel name is Vixen Ghoul. I will have her channel linked in my description box as well. I love the looks that both of us created. I love the mattes. I love the shimmers. This is the first time I ever had any experience with Ace Beauty is with this palette. And I just fell in love with the brand. I know that like they had some older palettes or their original palettes that were first released. I know some people didn't really like that formula, and so they reformulated. I don't know if this is an older formula, reformulated, I have no idea. But I was really impressed with it. I really liked it. And I have the Nostalgia palette that I love, and I have the Scarlet Dusk palette that I just got in an Ice Cream Beauty box, which I haven't used yet. I'm really excited to give that a try. It's gorgeous. But yeah, I really like this brand. I would definitely repurchase this palette. The next palette is the Orange Pop from Cara Beauty. And you guys know I love this brand. I got this at TJ Maxx. Of course, you guys know back when my TJ Maxx had decent makeup. And Ash and I, we have talked about maybe doing a collab where we go to TJ Maxx and put that store on blast and tell them to get their act together, but we haven't really planned that out yet. I think this is a beautiful fiery color story. I love having this in my collection, the oranges, the yellows, even some neutral options down here. Cara Beauty's mattes are gorgeous. They're pigmented. They blend out beautifully. The shimmers are that thick, buttery, opaque texture that I just love. And then there's a couple of pressed glitters here, this one and this one. But the thing that I love about Cara Beauty's pressed glitters is that they're very finely milled. You can put them on easily, take them off easily. That is such a huge plus for me when it comes to pressed glitters. So yeah, I would definitely repurchase this baby. The next palette is one that I put together myself. This is from We Makeup. This is an Italian indie brand that I found through, I think, Angelica. I'm pretty sure she had shown a palette that she put together from this brand. And I was like, ooh, I got to go on that website. And it's so much fun. They have different sizes of palettes. They have mattes, satin, shimmers, really cool. I love how it says girl powder on the front. And when you open this up, you're going to see a bunch of beautiful shimmer shades. And I just wanted some fun, different shimmers. When I got this, I just really didn't have that in my collection. These 3 right here are duochromes. They're kind of hard to see in my camera. This one flips to blue, this one flips to yellow, and this one flips to orange. This beautiful purple shade here, magenta, gold, kind of aqua, this kind of brownish purple, and this kind of like, I don't know, orangey brown shade. And I have not used this nearly enough, but when I have used it, it's just beautiful. And I always get compliments on the shades when I use this palette. This is so much fun to go onto their site and just put a palette together. I have done that for hours one time. I think right after I bought this, I just went back on to see, maybe should I get another one? And I spent hours just messing around with grabbing different shades and putting them in, I mean, you know, I'm very easily entertained apparently. But great formula, great adherence to the lid, great lasting power, longevity. The only thing is, I would say, is that they're pretty hard pressed and there's quite a bit of like, I guess, overspray over the top. So so you kind of have to dig into the shadows to really get them to adhere to a brush and get them to apply to your lid. And at first I was like, oh my God, that's so irritating. But after I got the top off and could get into the shade, it was fine. And they're beautiful. Highly recommend checking out this brand. I would definitely make another palette from this brand again. The next palette is the Def Leppard palette from Rock and Roll Beauty. Just got this not very long ago. I'm a huge Def Leppard fan. I was not super impressed with this color story when I first opened it up and saw it. This is the Hysteria album cover, and I kind of thought that this color story would like mimic that. I don't know why, I just had that in my head. And I did see pictures of this before I bought it, but I don't know. Sometimes when you get the palette, it looks maybe a little different than what the picture shows. But I am madly in love with this palette. The formula is so nice. The shimmers are kind of, I guess, more subtle. They're not super like woo bam, but they're gorgeous. They really are. And the mattes are really nice. They blend out very well. This brand has a couple of really fun palettes coming. They have like an Ozzy Osbourne collection and a Twisted Sister collection. I'm like, yeah, rock on. And they also have a Jimi Hendrix, like a guitar shaped palette that I really want. I think that's sold out right now. And then a couple of other smaller palettes too. And they might have another artist that they've done a palette based on. I can't remember. But really fun US indie brand, really cool concept. And I definitely want to get more from this brand. And I just love this. I mean, a Def Leppard fan really needs to have this in their collection. The next palette is the Cherry Crush palette. This is from Colourpop. And I do like this. The problem though with this palette is that the shades are all really similar in tone. You know, I usually like to do like, you know, deepen up the outer V and then maybe have like a lighter shimmer on the lid. That's just kind of my preference. And I don't know, when I use this palette, I've only used it once on my channel. I don't know, it just really didn't give me the lightness that I was hoping for in a shimmer. This is like the lightest shimmer you have in here, and it's just, I don't know, it's very similar to that. There's just not a lot of difference in these shades. And I understand it's a monochromatic palette, but I don't know, I wish they'd put maybe like a light pink shimmer in here, or, you know, like a light pink matte. So while I did like the performance of it, I'm not real thrilled with the color story. I saw Steph use this, Not Your Basic Stuff, on her channel, and she created such a beautiful look. And so I got this, and I don't know. I just have other red color stories in my collection that I think I prefer over this. So I don't think I would repurchase this. The next palette is an oldie but a goodie. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, and I've had this for a couple of years. It's kind of a mess. I always get my fingerprints all over palettes like this. Apologize. It smells like chocolate still. Like you can smell it in the drawer. I love that. And I do really enjoy having this palette. I like the mattes, I would say, better than the shimmers. The shimmers are kind of like, I don't know what it is, if they're like thinner, maybe more sheer, I would say. You kind of have to layer them, I feel, to make them look the way that I want them to look on the lid. I prefer thicker, more buttery textured shimmers. But I really do like having this in my collection. It's kind of like a staple, or like, you know, an oldie but a goodie, like I said. So would I repurchase this? I hardly use this palette. Boy, that's a tough one. I think I would say, I mean, I kind of bought this because I felt like I should have it in my collection because everybody had this. It's kind of one of those palettes that, you know, you should have, I guess. Should you? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I would repurchase this. I really don't. I love the mattes, but the shimmers, they're just not my favorite. The next palette is the MRE palette from Badass Beauties. And I found this palette, or this brand, after watching Leora Hillel Goldberg talk about this brand during one of her new makeup release videos. And I just saw it and I thought, you know what? I'm a badass beauty. I gotta have a badass beauty palette in my collection. And I love how it says Magnificent Radiant Elite. I love it. And the brand owner, this is a US indie brand. The brand owner is a veteran, I think, of the Marine Corps, or was it the Army? I can't remember. I used to have all that information memorized and it just kind of fell out of my brain. But she really wanted to emphasize the beauty that lies in the military. You know, there's a lot of women that serve in the military too. I think they kind of get overlooked. And she really wanted to talk about how badass and beautiful they are. And so she wanted to create palettes based on that idea. And I think that's amazing. Beautiful, wonderful concept. And you know what? I've only used this palette one time. I filmed with this, I don't know, this is my 4th or 5th video that I did when I started my channel. And it's been sitting on my shelf or in my drawer ever since then. So I'm gonna put this on my desk too and try to use this again soon. Now, this is not necessarily the best rainbow palette that I have in my collection, but I do really like it. The mattes work well, they blend out nicely. The pigmentation is, you know, it's maybe not the best, but it's not the worst. It's decent. And the shimmers are really nice too. They're more of a satin consistency, I would say, but they're really nice. Badass Beauties creates beautiful shimmer shades at that thick, buttery texture that you guys know that I love. So yes, I would definitely repurchase this, and I will promise soon I will use this again. The next palette is the Spotlight palette from You Can Be, and I got this off Amazon, although they do have their own website. And I'm pretty sure I discovered this brand through Leora Halal Goldberg too. She talks about a lot of brands that I really am interested in her new makeup release video. So does Steph, Not Your Basic Steph. So you guys need to go check out their new makeup release videos. They're amazing. Anyway, I love the mattes and I really like the shimmers. The shimmers are, I would say, maybe a little bit more subtle, a little bit more soft. They're not super like woo bam in your face, but I do really like how they perform and how they last. I wish I would hear more people talk about this brand on this platform. The palettes are really affordable, dare I say cheap, but the quality and the formula really is not cheap. They work really well. I love putting looks together with this palette. I haven't used this near enough either. I think I'm going to put this on top of the MRE palette and use this again soon. But yeah, I would definitely repurchase this. It's gorgeous. The last palette number 10, is the Be Perfect Cosmetics Carnival 3 Love Tahiti Stacy Marie palette. And I think this is the longest titled palette that I have in my collection. And I never know if I say that in the right order, but there you have it. And I can honestly say that I am madly in love with this palette. I saw this, of course, other people using this palette on their channel. And at first I'm like, oh, it's kind of big, maybe a little too big. That's what she said. But I went ahead and went for it, and I'm so glad that I did. I mean, this is a little bit more expensive than some of the palettes I own in my collection, but I'm telling you, it is worth every penny, every penny. The shimmers are gorgeous. They're that thick, buttery, opaque, flippy texture that I just love. The mattes are super pigmented. They blend out beautifully. You know, you could put a look together with this in the morning, and at the end of the day, it's pretty much going to look exactly the same as it did when you applied it, and I love that about this palette. Now, Freya and I, Vixen Ghoul, she and I did a collab using this palette. I chose a row at random for her, and she chose a row at random for me, and I love the looks that we both created. Very different, but really cool looks, and I just love it. I would definitely repurchase this palette. I really want to get more from this brand. Is this the only Be Perfect palette that I have? I think it is. I really want to get the Antidote palette, and then there's, I don't know, pretty much every palette that I see from this brand I want to get. But you know what? I need to use the ones I have before I start getting online and getting more palettes. So yeah, those were the 10 palettes that I randomly selected out of my collection. What was there, 2 out of the 10, right? The Chocolate Gold from Too Faced, and then the Earth and Stone from Revolution Pro. I think those are the only 2 that I said I wouldn't. Oh, and the Cherry Crush. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do like the Cherry Crush, but I'm just going to stick with the fact that I said I would not repurchase that palette. So what? 3 out of 10. So that's pretty good. 7 palettes I would repurchase. Let me know if you guys have any of these palettes in the comment section. Let me know. Let me know what you think of them. Let me know if you would repurchase them or not. If you think that I have lost my mind by not wanting to repurchase the 3 that I said I wouldn't repurchase, or if you think I've lost my mind that I would repurchase the ones I said I would repurchase. Okay. You guys are like, okay, Erica, wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening to sit down and watch my video. It always means the world to me. If you have subscribed or you would like to subscribe, do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy, and I hope to see you very soon. Thanks again, you guys. Take care. Bye.
Drop it.